You found us over here. Hi TikTok, hi Twitch, hi Facebook, and of course hi YouTube. So there's a lot of stuff going on with these trials. We're going to talk about them. What's happened today, we're also going to talk about Bryan Kohberger because he's trying to get the death penalty off the table for him. Hello, Sassy Darcy. And that's important. And there's a name from the OJ case trial that has come up in that whole bit there. So yeah, let's get started on this. Sarah Boone, it looks like they're going to be closing arguments on Friday. So wow, lots of shake up in there. A video of George that was retrieved and never before seen by any of us or the jury, of course. Really very scary, very abusive video of George holding a baseball bat, yelling, then smashing a TV. That coupled with the pictures we saw of Sarah Boone with the black eye. There was a neighbor that came in that testified she saw Sarah with marks around her neck as if she'd been choked, black eyes, sore arms, bruises, things like that. Could all make the jury sway to believe that she thought if she let him out of the suitcase that he would kill her. He would make her unrecognizable. They saw him swinging that baseball bat. They saw the rage in him breaking the TV, you know, and I don't know. Remember that Diane Redlick, who, and if you're not familiar with that case, it was also a Florida case. I've mentioned it before. It wasn't far from where Sarah Boone is. And we covered it extensively. And she used the same defense that Sarah Boone did. Even though people said the same thing about Diana Redlick, that, oh no, she wasn't abused, this and that and the other thing, right? And there were things that came out on her end that were not so good, not so squeaky clean, much like Sarah. But there were things that came out on the husband's end too. And comes to be that she claims that he went after her. She was eating I think it was some kind of a McDonald's sandwich or something, burger. And she said she stabbed him in self-defense in the thigh. Well, it just happened that it hit an artery, and she ran into the bathroom and stayed there all night. Came out in the morning, found him, he had bled to death all over the floor. And people would say, wow, she just thought, okay, maybe got a little stab in the thigh, that it wasn't going to kill him, but it did. I believe it was the thigh that she got him. Somebody else got somebody in the shoulder, and that did something to it. But anyway, he bled out. She was acquitted. So it can happen for Sarah. Maybe that's why she didn't want the plea deal. Remember, she's done almost, she's done over 4 years, hasn't she? It's 2020 in the February. I think it was. So she's done going on 5 years, you know. I don't know. You don't know what could happen there. Let's see. It was, I'll tell you, the relationship was completely toxic. You remember going over it. It was extremely toxic. There was abuse all over the place. There was alcoholism, which now they call, what do they call an alcohol syndrome disorder? They don't call it alcoholism anymore. And okay, so let's see what we've got. We also had the psychologist that took the stand today. Let's get this up and talk about this case. And then we'll go on to the other ones. Okay, hold on one second. I'm just trying to make sure this... Okay, so Sarah Boone is accused of suffocating her boyfriend in a locked suitcase. She testified that they both found it funny that he could fit inside, but that she felt too scared to let him out when he turned angry during his final moments. Now, he put himself in that suitcase. She zipped up the suitcase, but they thought it was funny. And then she said his tone changed, and it got into a scary tone, and she thought when he came out he would make her unrecognizable. She said something that he said often. So she said she was terrified when he was still in the suitcase. She accuses him of previous domestic violence, and he started threatening her to release him. And she said if he had gotten out of that suitcase, they said, what would happen? She said she was always in fear around him. He used to tell her that he would leave her unrecognizable and I would have lost my life. And they were claiming battered spouse syndrome. The abuse, she said, was why she filmed him as she laughed and ignored his pleas for help, even poking the case with a baseball bat to stop him from escaping and telling him at one point, yeah, that's what you do when you choke me. Still, despite her claim of self-defense, which was not mentioned in her initial police interviews, she testified that she never meant to leave him to die in the case. So let's get to what happened after this. Here's the psychologist who testified about battered spouse syndrome. They had an expert witness on battered spouse syndrome today. The mental health issues central to her defense and the second-degree murder charge that she's facing for the 2020 death of her boyfriend. Okay. Forensic psychologist. First they had Michael Brannon on, and he said that battered spouse syndrome is a psychological change that happens with victims of abuse and trauma in terms of the way they cope and strategize to ensure their safety for themselves or for loved ones. And he said, and I quote, those situations change your perception of danger, so you no longer see that object or that person in the same way. You have a foreboding sense of danger that occurs so other people may not perceive it. Brennan has not directly analyzed Boone. Forensic psychologist Julie Harper has, and she took this stand. She took about, 30 minutes to go through all of her credentials to be declared an expert. But when she got through that, she started to talk about all of this stuff. So let's see here. during Brannon's testimony, Brannon previously testified in the first-degree murder trial of Marcia Thompson, a South Florida woman who was acquitted in July of killing her husband using the battered spouse syndrome as a defense. I don't know why they didn't bring Diana Redlick into this. And that case, and we should look it up, Marcia Thompson, she shot him 9 times, 6 in the back when he laid on the couch in his underwear, and she was acquitted in July, as was Diana Redlick, okay? And Diana Redlick, if I remember correctly, had her own kids that were coming out and testifying against her. So the assistant state attorney, William J., questioned Brannon about narcissistic personality disorder, a mental health condition in which people have an unreasonably high sense of their own importance, and Jay asked if possessing some of its traits affects credibility of an individual's testimony about history of an abusive relationship. And Brannon said such traits should be taken into account. He also said alcohol abuse should be taken into account. When Kevin Beck, who's one of Sarah Boone's attorneys, asked if exhibiting traits of narcissistic personality disorder means that a person has it, Brannon replied that it does not. Jay also asked Brannon if trauma in a relationship had to come from a man towards a woman, to which he said no. And if trauma could be verbal or mental instead of physical, to which he said yes, of course, right? He raised the issue of whether violence could reasonably be expected from a person experiencing mental and verbal trauma. And then he said, and I quote, "I'm not suggesting that it's legally or morally okay. But when one intimate partner does these hypothetical emotional things, non-physical violence things, to a partner B, if partner B has poor personal skills and coping skills and may have been consuming alcohol, is it unreasonable or unfathomable to hear that partner B responded with physical violence?" And Jay asked Brannon if someone showing symptoms of it before entering into a romantic relationship would affect a psychologist's determination of whether the person suffered from battered spouse syndrome, to which Brannon said it would. To now the female psychologist that they had on the stand. As well, I want to talk about this video that was shown. The jury saw an extracted video from Sarah's phone that showed George Torres beating a television set with a baseball bat. Okay, I'm trying to get to this. Prosecutors say key evidence in their case includes 2 videos found on Boone's phone that were recorded when Torres was in the suitcase. Now we know that. We've seen those. But then they found these, and they show Torres being very violent, like I said, and smashing that TV with a baseball bat. I think that was really key in her defense, that video. And a neighbor and a psychologist testified as well. The neighbor was in a wheelchair. They had to have the deputies help her in. She was also a little hard of hearing. So you think that the attorneys would have spoken up, but it took them a long time to kind of realize that. Pearl Walker, a former neighbor, said she sometimes noticed marks on Sarah Boone's neck or her arms, and she would see her when she was out walking her dogs and have conversations with her. She said that she would ask Sarah about those things, and she would say, well, you know, something like she said that's the day I had, or that's what happens, and it's that kind of thing. She didn't really tell her a lot about it. She claimed that she was afraid of how Sarah claimed how she was afraid of Torres would behave once he got out of the suitcase, and that's why she didn't let him out. Then Dr. Julie Harper, a psychologist who has been licensed for 22 years, took the stand, and she said she did her dissertation in couples relationships, and she reviewed Sarah Boone's records before she interviewed her. And they asked her, do you think that Sarah Boone has some narcissistic traits? Yes, she replied. But she said, they were talking a lot about the things that you have to discount. Just because somebody has some narcissistic traits doesn't mean they have narcissistic personality disorder. And it also can be from a lack of self-esteem. So they were saying, like, you've got to go dismiss certain things, and it tells you to do that. So they were going over and over that. They wanted, because the prosecution wants them to say that she has narcissistic personality disorder. That's their whole thing there. Go to During the cross-examination, the state questioned Julie Harper's findings, noting that battered spouse is not a formal medical diagnosis. Prosecutor also asked about Sarah's narcissistic traits, and even just traits of narcissistic personality disorders, that's something an evaluator should account for when evaluating the credibility of the history given. Yes, said Dr. Harper, because all forms of disorders or traits may lead to inaccurate information, either not purposefully or purposefully, they may be deceptive. The defense has maintained that Torres was abusive. Two deputies who previously responded to domestic violence calls involving the couple testified, noting that in one instance, both Boone and Torres were arrested. Court is set to resume at 9 a.m., with the defense expected to rest its case. The state will offer a rebuttal, and closing arguments are likely to begin either late Thursday or early Friday. So we'll see what happens there. Now let's talk about Leilani Simon, because they actually called her up to the stand to ask her the questions if, she understood that she can testify. Nobody can stop her from testifying. Nobody can force her to testify. And then in the end, she's not testifying. Prosecution and defense rest their case. So let's get some graphics up here and talk about what happened. Okay. All right, Leilani. I just want to get her graphic up there so we know. Okay, there we go. So they have to win the case of the worst audio on their interrogations ever. Okay, their interrogations, everyone, they are just awful. So horrible. The state and the defense have rested its case against Leilani Simon. That came right after Leilani Simon declined to testify. The final testimony was from the Chatham County Police Department Detective Marion Lemons. Prosecuting attorney Tim Dean asked, do you think you may have killed him? Yes, said Detective Lemons. The prosecutor continued, is it the case she was not able to give an answer or not, or really say anything? Lemons responded, yes, that's correct. The defense rested their case without calling any witnesses, though they filed for a directed verdict for acquittal, which was denied by Judge Tammy Stokes. First, there's no direct evidence to support these claims, said the defense attorney Robert Peirce. The state has presented theories and its conclusions, but has presented no direct evidence that Leilani Simon committed these crimes the way they're charged in counts 1, 2, and 3 in the indictment. I think the medical examiner's testimony is significant. He's referring to the testimony of the GBI medical examiner, Dr. Laura Darasaw, who testified Wednesday, who said on the stand she could not perform an autopsy on Quinton because of the deteriorated state of his remains. They've been subjected to environmental damage done from being in the landfill. The trial has held 8 days of testimonies from key witnesses, including family, friends, and law enforcement. They had someone on, they were trying to analyze the whatever vomit or whatever was on that sheet and asking, is there any evidence of drugs or anything in that? And there wasn't. So now, tomorrow, let's see, I think we're having closing arguments. Let me just make sure that we're going to have the closing arguments that can go to the jury and you could have a verdict tomorrow, which I think for her is going to be guilty. And we can do a poll in here. There was a final interview that they saw before her arrest. That's what they showed, but it's like you can hardly hear them. It's just ridiculous. On Wednesday, the jury in the Leilani Simon murder trial saw the final interview that she had right before she was arrested. In the interview, Leilani Simon admits to being high on cocaine on the night her son disappeared, adding that she loses touch with reality, she hallucinates and doesn't remember what she does when she takes that amount of drugs. So high that the brain shuts down, she said. Leilani becomes emotional, and she says she struggles to remember the events of that night. She claims the last thing she remembered was seeing Quinton, then blacking out, and when she came to, she was driving back from the Azalea Mobile Home Park because she knows that she went over the railroad tracks right before she got to her house, and 2 hours had gone by, and she says she has no memory of what happened during that time. Investigators note that Simon remembers leaving the area of the mobile home park dumpster, which is where they say that Quinton's body was discarded. They go on to tell Leilani that they know she hurt her child, and she doesn't deny it. One of the investigators asked Leilani if Quinton was in one of the 2 trash bags she put in the dumpster. She said, "I don't remember grabbing a trash bag." When asked about her debunked alibi, that she went out in the middle of the night to pick up Oragel, she said that was a theory she had because she couldn't remember what she had done or where she'd been. She said her detailed story about throwing out trash, again, was nothing more than a theory. She kept saying those were theories. see. And there were there was something about the rice cereal, the back of Leilani's car. They had Sherry Fentress come in, an FBI DNA analyst working out of Quantico, Virginia. She was asked to perform a kinship analysis and evaluation related between individuals on remains, bones, and tissues. She adds that the analysis involved Billy Joe Howell, Quentin's grandmother, Henry Moss Jr., Quentin's biological father, and Leilani Simon. Fentress said that the analysis provided strong evidence that those remains originated from Quentin based on the likelihood ratio. And then Dr. Cynthia Morris Kokoski, an FBI examiner toxicologist, performed a forensic toxicology. She explains how she analyzed some brain tissue found within the frontal bone for cocaine and cocaine metabolites. Metabolites are a substance that forms when the body's breaking down a particular drug. And she said she didn't detect any. They went over, they asked her for a bunch of oxycodone. They asked her for Percocet, all that stuff. She didn't find anything there. The prosecution showed a slideshow which showed the house at different times and a Google image of Gerber rice cereal similar to what was found in the back of the car. Now, in the back of Leilani's car, it was this rice cereal or whatever she said was all over the back, and it was like evenly spread out. Not sure why she put that there, and I really don't know why that was there. You think about who's the one I'm thinking of? Gannon Stouck's stepmother. And she put that carpet stuff all over her car and got that. But she had the rice cereal all over the back of the car. I don't know why. That was about. But she'll probably be guilty tomorrow. And I've got to go to the doctor tomorrow, so beyond that. All right, let's talk about Delphi because they talked about the girls' autopsies today. Let me get a graphic on there. Okay. Oh, we'll just put a picture of their courtroom. Okay. So we've got this over here now. So they have this is terrible that we don't get to, see anything even later on. Why can't they let us see it later on? Right? This trial, everybody's been waiting for it, and we have to get it through just reports. Indiana State Police Sergeant Christopher Cecil extracted data from 23 of Richard Allen's devices in November of 2022, the month after his arrest for the murders of Abby and Libby. He said he found nothing tying Allen to the teenagers' deaths. He testified on Wednesday afternoon. Cecil found only that someone had used Allen's devices to look up the girls on the internet, and there was no direct communication with or about the girls. Cecil said the phone Allen had used in 2017 when the girls were killed wasn't one of the devices he had analyzed, implying that Allen was using a different phone when he was arrested 5.5 years after the killings. Prosecutor Nick McLeland noted that the 2017 phone's unique ID differed from Allen's phone in 2022. At this remark, Allen sat and shook his head in frustration, a bitter smile crossing his face. He then leaned over to his defense attorney, Andrew Baldwin, to say something quietly. Cecil's main role as a prosecution witness Wednesday was to discuss the data he extracted and analyzed from Libby's phone to build a chronological timeline of events on February 13th, the day the girls were killed, and the following day. Between 4:06 p.m. February 13th and 4:33 a.m. February 14th, Libby's phone received no short messages, but the phone did receive iMessages, which iPhone users can send between one another using internet connection instead of cellular service, as well as FaceTime calls. At 4:33 a.m. February 14th, a flood of about 15 SMS messages reached Libby's phone. This indicates that some connection had been established with local cell phone towers at that time, not that the messages were all sent at 4:33 a.m. Cecil says he doesn't have an explanation for why those messages were received then. Among other information Cecil was missing is why, during his data extraction from Libby's phone, he did not find a now infamous photo of Abby crossing the Mononhigh Bridge taken at an estimated time of 2:07 p.m. on February 13th. Libby used Snapchat to take several other photos that Cecil found, but he couldn't locate this one from the cache of saved pictures. Instead, he had to estimate the time the widely circulated photo, seen by Libby's friends and family, was taken. "I don't have an answer," Cecil said, after jurors shared several questions about how Snapchat photos are shared. Wednesday afternoon began with the testimony of Cecil, and he said Libby called her father, named Daddy-O, in her contact list at 1:38 p.m. on February 13th. Derek German testified last week that Libby called him to ask him to pick them up from the Mononhigh Bridge trail later that afternoon. At 1:41 p.m., when the girls were on their way to the trail, Libby posted a selfie on Snapchat. Abby was sitting in the back seat. Libby posted another selfie 2 minutes later. She was smiling, while Abby had a blank expression. At 2:05, Libby posted a photo of the High Bridge just before they crossed. At 2:13 p.m., Cecil said a video was recorded. The 43-second video, which jurors saw on Tuesday, showed Abby crossing the bridge and a man, the one who would later become widely known as Bridge Guy and a primary suspect in the case, following her. Prosecutors allege the man is Allen. The last moment detected by the phone's Apple Health app was at 2:32 p.m. A text came from her grandmother, Becky Patty, at 4:06 p.m. Patty, along with relatives and others, had been searching for Abby and Libby for several hours. "You need to call me now," Patty texted, adding multiple exclamation points. Officials initially believed the last signal the phone received was about 10 p.m. on February 13th, but a second analysis conducted earlier this year using more advanced programs found that the last signal was actually received at 4:33 a.m. on February 14th. At that time, Libby's phone received about 15 text messages at once, and Cecil said there was no indication that Libby's phone had been turned off, and it's unclear why the messages all came in at once. Dr. Roland Kaur, A semi-retired forensic pathologist conducted the autopsies on the teenagers on February 15th of 2017. He said that Abby had a 2-inch laceration across her neck that damaged the left jugular vein. He said that the cut appeared to have been made from right to left. Libby had at least 4, maybe 5 overlapping wounds on her neck. 2 of the cuts, one on each side, were lethal and hit arteries, meaning that blood would have spread several feet. Both of her hands were also bloody, suggesting that she might have grabbed her neck. Kaur, who said he had performed between 7,700 and 7,800 autopsies, estimated that the teens lived 4 to 10 minutes after their throats were slashed, although they likely lost consciousness before dying. He said there were no visible signs that the girls were sexually assaulted. He testified this does not mean that there was no sexual contact, just that there was no trauma left. Sarah Carbo testified that she decided to drive on County Road 300 North by the Monon High Bridge trail entrance on the afternoon of February 13th, and it was a beautiful day. She was off from work, so she decided to scope out how many people were using the trail. About 4 p.m., she said she saw a group of people at the trail entrance looking stressed out. Later, as she was heading east of the county road, she drove past a man who was walking, hunched over, with both hands in his pocket. I saw a man covered in mud and blood. Carbaugh described the man's demeanor as sketchy. She said she looked at the man, whom she estimated was 3 feet away from her car, but he did not make eye contact with her. Carbaugh didn't tell police about the man for 3 weeks because she was scared, she testified. She later believed that the man she saw was the same man who became known as Bridge Guy. The defense attorney, Andrew Baldwin, tried to discredit Carbaugh by picking apart the statement she gave to police during 3 different interviews. Baldwin pointed out that Carbaugh mentioned the word mud 11 times during the first interview. She said the word 13 times during the second interview in June, and the word blood was not in the transcript of either interview. Though Carbaugh insisted she remembers talking to investigators about it. Hang on a minute, now my computer is... There we go. Carbaugh said she might have thought his coat was tan. Hold on 1 second. I don't like that we can't even hear the testimony later on. So ridiculous, isn't it? Come on. Okay. And now we're going to go to Bryan Kohberger. Just going to give my computer a minute here to breathe. Bryan Kohberger was the death penalty, off the table. And we're going to talk about how he's planning to do that in just a second. Let's see if my computer wants to play nice yet. Do you want to play nice, Mr. Computer? Not so much right now. Uh-oh. Alright, I'm just going to get my phone. When this does this, I'm just getting my phone. I'm not going to fool around with this anymore. Oh my goodness. Okay. Just lost my shoe again. Hang on. Okay. So I don't think I'm going to be able to, let me see if I can get, if it's going to let me put a graphic up of Bryan Kohberger. If it's not, I'm not going to be able to put a graphic up yet. My computer doesn't want to play nice, but I'll tell you about this, okay? Recent court filings show that Kohberger's defense team have brought on the forensic expert, Dr. Barbara C. Wolfe, to testify remotely at a hearing scheduled for November 7th. Hang on a minute. See if it's going to let me do this now. I just want to get his picture up. Okay. Wolfe is currently the medical examiner of Florida's 5th and 24th districts, which include Citrus, Hernando, Lake, Marion, Seminole, and Sumter counties. She has worked on several high-profile cases. She worked on the O.J. Simpson case to testify in his defense. Notably, she worked on O.J.'s defense team while he was on trial for the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman back in '95. At the time, she worked as the director of anatomic pathology at Albany Medical College, and she examined at least one of the gloves from the infamous case. Her team criticized the doctor who conducted the autopsies and suggested the evidence pointed to a later time of death than aligned with Simpson's alibi. Simpson was cleared of the charges after the high-profile trial that captivated the world. We know that, right? She was also involved in the 1991 civil rights leader Medgar Evers, who was exhumed in 1995. She was involved when the bodies of 5 children were exhumed from one family in New York, where they were presumed to have died from sudden infant death syndrome between 1965 and 1971. Her role in the reevaluation led to the convictions of the mother for the suffocation of the infants. The state objected to Wolfe's testimony, claiming it will not help the trier of fact to understand the evidence or to determine a fact in issue, according to court filings. Kohberger's defense attorneys argued to have the case moved to Boise. We know that. So now they've got her on here, and let's see here what's. In 13 legal briefs submitted on Friday, the prosecution rejected claims that the public did not favor the death penalty. The crux of the defendant's argument is that there has been a major shift in public opinion regarding the morality, decency, and humanity of the death penalty, according to a filing by the prosecutor Bill Thompson and Special Assistant Attorney Ingrid Beatty. The prosecutors also pointed out that the majority of the U.S. states have the penalty, despite defense claiming that it was out of step with modern social norms. The court should deny the defendant's motion because this is an issue that has already been ruled upon by Idaho Supreme Court. Prosecution added, Defendant is asking this court to ignore the Idaho precedent as well as the precedent set by the Supreme Court of the United States. Okay, hold on, let me see if it's going to let me get an image here. Okay, I don't really, just going to put up any image of him because we just want to know we're on a different case over here. Okay. All right, so got that, right? Let's see now. Kohberger has been charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. We know all that.
Well, my pastor...
What is that? Okay, let's see here. Kohberger. Who's got this? Right, so let's see what we've got here. Kohberger plans to call Dr. Barbara Wolf to testify over whether capital punishment should be on the table if he's convicted of murdering the University of Idaho students. She works in Florida as a medical examiner. She was enlisted in Simpson's case. We know that. They want to get her there to testify for him. Wolf said last month that death by firing squad causes pain and suffering, according to an affidavit filed by Kohberger's lawyers who argued that their client should not face the death penalty. She's going to testify remotely at a November 7th hearing. Idaho laws call for lethal injection to be used for someone sentenced to capital punishment, but if that option isn't available for some reason, state laws say a firing squad should be used for execution. Kohberger's lawyers argue that he shouldn't face either method, claiming Idaho has struggled with lethal injection for a myriad of reasons and saying the death penalty by firing squad is cruel. State prosecutors who are pushing for the death penalty responded that the arguments are premature, since the method of death can't be discussed until after an appeal. They also argued that Kohberger's lawyers claims that lethal injection won't be available when he's eventually executed years from now are speculative. Kohberger's trial is slated to begin with jury selection on July 30th and is expected to continue through November 7th, with the trial split up into a portion to determine if he's guilty and a portion to determine if he should be sentenced to the death penalty. The case was recently moved from nearby Moscow, Idaho community where the murders were carried out to the state's capital of Boise to avoid any bias that came from the media coverage locals were and continued to be exposed to. So that's where we are with all that. Let's see if I can see the live chat. There we are. Hi, Kama Sutra. Hi, Christine F. How are you? Hi, Video Reel. Hi, Irma Jimbo Jangles. Hi, Low Lighty. How can he be getting letters from girls like that? They need to get their heads checked. This case has been overly delayed for far too long. Not fair to the families that lost their daughters and son. So, yeah, now let's see what else is going on. Okay. All right. Okay, the husband of the missing Texas realtor is hit with new charges, and his partner is also arrested. Doesn't sound well. It doesn't sound good for that, does it? Let's see. Go on now. Get over there. Hold on, I'm going to shut down some things here. Oh, and just so if you'd missed it, there's a giveaway on the blog. It's open to U.S. residents. MommyRemlings.org. You can win an Amazon gift card. Flow on the Go was the last winner of an Amazon gift card. So go over there and enter. Okay, now my Google Chrome shut down, but hey, that's okay. I'll just open it up again. I have to go to the doctor tomorrow. I have to go go to my endocrinologist, see how my thyroid is, and I have to go and get a flu shot, and then got to do some other stuff. I'll be getting some more packages out. Marianne Frontini. I have a PayPal request for you if you haven't seen it. And then pull this over here. And the other ones I'm going to get out, try to get that out in the morning. I've got to color my hair in the morning. I've got to do a bunch of stuff. All right, let me do this now. This will be... We were looking at that realtor I was telling you the story about. All right, let's go back to that. Go on and get over there. There we go. So the husband of a Texas realtor who's been missing for 2 weeks now is facing new charges, and his business partner has been arrested as well in connection with the investigation. Brad Simpson, already in jail on charges of assault causing bodily injury, family violence, and unlawful restraint, was charged Tuesday with tampering or fabricating with physical evidence and possession of a prohibited weapon. Additionally, 65-year-old James Val Cotter A longtime friend and business partner of Simpson was arrested on the same charges. Simpson's wife, Suzanne Clark Simpson, has been missing since October 6th, when a neighbor saw her and her husband arguing outside their Olmos Park home. The neighbor reported hearing screams between 10 and 11 p.m. that night. She later saw Brad Simpson, 53, drive away from the home, come back about an hour later. The new charges against Simpson and Cotter's arrest are connected with a fully automatic AK-47 rifle found during a search this week at Cotter's home. The weapon was found behind a television mounted in his bedroom. The affidavit said, and a video of a walk-in safe at the Simpsons' home taken earlier appears to show the same gun. The affidavit says that Cotter gave Texas Rangers permission to look at his cell phone communications with Simpson, and they found a message on October 8th from Simpson asking Cotter to haul arse and meet him at your house. I don't have much time, he added, saying that, okay, make sure to leave all that shite in the pump house, especially that gun. Wow. And here's the two guys. An automatic weapon classified as a machine gun is illegal to own unless it is registered with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. The AK was not registered, the affidavit said, and both Cotter and Simpson were aware it was unregistered and illegal. Earlier this month, investigators found an unregistered short-barreled rifle, also illegal to own, during a search at Simpson's home. Short-barrel rifle means a sawed-off shotgun. Federal agents have placed a hold on him while they continue their investigation of that weapon. Simpson is being held on a $3 million bond. A bond hearing has been scheduled for October 15th, but it was canceled because of the federal detainer. Cotter is being held on a $1 million bond. Meanwhile, where's his wife? What a bunch of pineapples, huh? Here's another guy who's a former South Carolina law enforcement officer. A man who served in law enforcement in South Carolina for nearly 15 years pled guilty Wednesday to killing his next-door neighbor in 2023 and was sentenced to 34 years in prison. Justin Rawlins Moody, I guess he was Moody, 43 years old, was to go on trial next week for the May 11th, 2023 shooting death of 48-year-old Oscar Rubio. I remember that. 8th Circuit Solicitor David Sumbo's office said Moody threw himself upon the mercy of the court. Rubio's girlfriend found him dead from multiple gunshot wounds in the living room of his home in Ware Shoals. That sounds like we're Dr. Scholl's. Responding deputies found significant amount of blood on the front porch and in the front yard and said it appeared that someone had dragged his body into the house after they shot him. Witnesses told investigators that Rubio had some kind of issue with Moody, his neighbor, possibly over having loaned Moody money. When deputies went to Moody's house, they couldn't get him to answer the door until a deputy who knew him called out to him. And then he said he'd been sleeping, but deputies noted in their reports that he didn't appear to have been sleeping. All the lights were on in the house. Deputies also found a pair of pants over a chair with blood spatter and a funeral pamphlet on the kitchen table with R.I.P. Oscar and You Should Love Your Neighbor written on it. Investigators said Moody denied involvement in the neighbor's death but knew an extraordinary amount about the crime scene. As they continued to question him, Moody told them he was God and could hear the thoughts of other people. A A further search of the house, they found the gun used in the shooting. It was in the bedroom of Moody's home, and boots that matched the footprints on Rubio's home. Deputies also found items that belonged to Rubio in Moody's home, including several $1,000s in cash and the keys to the victim's vehicle in a duffel bag. Moody had worked in law enforcement from 2005 until 2018 at 6 different agencies in South Carolina, including Richland County and Greenville County Sheriff's Offices. Wow, best of the best, huh? Okay. And I hear a bunch of stuff going on there, so I've got to get to the YouTube, not even on the YouTube channel. Let me see what's going on. Is video real? Gifting memberships? Hang on. I'm coming over there. Hang on. Let me see what's going on in here. Okay. Oh, little lady. You psyched me out. It's little lady gifting those memberships. Thank you, little lady. How sweet of you. Very nice. Thank you. Let's see who got a membership from little lady. Little lady. Let's see. Dana Bear, Katie Doobie, Hybrid Pisces Sweetheart, you're not supposed to be here, members. Tammy Flo got one. Gretchen W. Blue got one. Good. Those are good peeps. And then, now Video Reel is gifting. Thank you. Soul Souffle got a membership. Yay. Frilly Farmhouse got one. Yay. Oldie but goodie. Christina got one. Wait a second. Okay. Christina got one. French Fry got one. Teresa got one. Valerie Curto. I don't think you're supposed to be there. Here, baby. I think you're going to get in troubles. Tina N. Galacticness 81 got one. Yay, wonderful. That's great. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Appreciate the channel support. Thank you. Hermogene Bojangles. They are channel members. How do you get your name in green? Calgon, take me away. Okay. Thank you, guys. Really nice. Very nice. Oh, boy. Now Kevin Leonard's doing one. Thank you, Kevin Leonard. Jess Ruby got a membership. Lisa CIA Hole. Oh, Sully, hey Sully got a membership. What's up? Got a membership. You're going to be in trouble, Valerie. Streaming was gifted a membership by Kevin Leonard. Yay! Great. Thank you, guys. Wonderful. 20 new members. Okay. We'll have to have a special movie night or something. All right. Let's see what else we've got here. Let's go with that. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in to all the new members. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Gail B. Welcome everybody in. Yay! Wouldn't you like to be a Rambler too? Be a Rambler? All right, let's see what else is happening, and then we're going to do something fun. Oh, California woman was found dead in the trash. She was murdered by her boyfriend who ran to a relative's home, Julianne Sinitra, 38 years old. Nutsos out there, really nutsos. An 8-year-old in Colorado, a little girl, fought back against a would-be kidnapper in a clown mask. She fought back. Good for her. The heck's he doing with a clown mask? All right, let's see something else here. Martha Stewart leaves Netflix pissed. She's pissed. What do you think she's pissed about? She trashed a new film. Flew private jet to premiere. Let's see, there's buzz that Netflix ain't so happy with Martha Stewart. Let's see what's going on here. Oh my gosh, all these freaking pop-up ads. Oh my goodness, I don't even want to keep doing this. Stop. According, let's see, Netflix ain't so happy with Martha Stewart after the domestic diva slammed her upcoming documentary. Martha, we talked about this before. The situation is awkward. We hear the streaming service flew Martha Stewart via private jet to the film's premiere at the 2024 Telluride Film Festival. Netflix is pissed. Martha debuted her new documentary at the festival. Stewart disagreed with R.J. Cutler, the director, about the documentary's coverage of her infamous trial. Martha was seen arriving to and departing in Colorado via a private jet, courtesy of Netflix. The controversy kicked off after the film debuted, and Martha Stewart, who's 83 years old, oh my gosh, she's 83, my gosh. She called the documentary lazy and not the story that makes me, me. She's 83. Hang on for 1 second. Let me just see something. She's 83. Crikey, how did that happen? I guess. She says she tries not to publicly talk about things she doesn't like. It's not good business, she allegedly said. But I can talk a little bit badly about that. It's more about my stupid trial, which is so unfair, she says. I don't know. I feel like this is old news. Why is this over here? I don't understand. Well, Beyonce's still in the country. She just made an appearance somewhere. Champagne's girlfriend felt like she was a hostage before leaving Argentina. What's that about? Patricia, Elon Musk. Okay, so there's nothing good there. All right, so I want to just do one other thing. Let me see something. Huh. All right, let's look at this. Let's look at this. We haven't done this in a while. That is not it. Okay, let me see. Why is that not coming out? All right, forget it. Let's go for another one. Hmm. Do I want to look at that one? All right, let's look at. I don't even know how this. I wonder how this. Let's take a look at this. I wonder how this stored in. Okay. Who was that? What just happened there? Snow remover, member for 57 months. Welcome to all new members. Yay! Thank you. Being a member for 57 months. Now, what did I just do with this? Okay, here we go. Let's take a look. We're going to do this. There was something on I saw recently about storybook homes, like these houses that were like storybook homes. I remember I picked out a dollhouse for my brother and sister-in-law, and they bought it. They laughed when we went there, and then they ended up buying the house. Okay, here we go. This is in North Carolina. And what you have to do, if you've never done this before, but probably you all have, is you're just going to guess how much you think it is. Hello? Oh, it's cute. I'd like built-in bookcases over there. That would be nice. I'm crazy about that blue hearth in the fireplace. It needs a little bit of TLC. Does it have fleur-de-lis? Fleur-de-lis. Look at that, Elle. It's got a lot of windows. What's with these I like this. And there should be baskets or bins under there. I don't like the vacuum over there, right there on the hallway, like, 'cause you can't even sit down. That's not a good look. I like those built-ins right there. That's the same vanity I have in my bathroom sink cabinetry. I don't like what they put in there. They have this nice subway tile, and then they put, what did they put in there? Thanks. Lots of windows, lots of light. Oh look, they've got a little garage back there with a little house on top. That's cute. Oh look, it's got a little guest area. Does it have a bathroom? Has air conditioning. Okay, so here I'll tell you a little bit more about this property. Okay, let me see. I'll tell you a little bit about it, then you can start putting in a price, okay? It's an irresistibly charming home. It sits in the heart of Emerywood, one of the historic sections in High Point. High Point is the furniture capital of the world. Extensive landscaping done in 2021 includes a new concrete drive, walkways, patios, beautiful new fencing, and all new landscaping. Exterior lighting that enhances the exterior. Step inside this store. See, they call it a storybook cottage. To an open living room enhanced by a feature fireplace, arched doorways, a sunroom that feels as though you've stepped outside. The remodeled kitchen includes a pantry, mudroom, and a powder room. Upstairs, 2 bedrooms have transom windows that provide great natural light, and a smaller 3rd bedroom. The full bath is updated with tile surround and a double vanity, refinished hardwoods throughout. The 2-car garage has a finished room overhead with heat, air, perfect for an office, workout space, or a hangout. Great storage in the attic and basement. This is a home that will capture your heart. It is on 0.31 acres. Okay, again, it's in High Point. It's Guilford County, North Carolina. So, how much do you think it is? Put in your guesses, and I will come around with the answer. I'm coming with the answer. Okay, Little Lighty says $575. No more video reel than $280 if Elle agrees. $460 says Kevin. Where's everybody else? Margot, $395. Come on, don't be shy. Don't be scared that everybody's going to laugh at your answer. Nobody's going to laugh at you. Irma Jean, do you think about anything, Irma Jean? Irma Jean Bojangles? Now you've got me hungry for chicken. Murder of Crows, hi! 420 says a Murder of Crows. Murder of Crows, you're in the UK, right? You don't know American real estate. Yeah. Neither does Margot, but that doesn't stop her. Irma Jean went back to work. She was on a break, she said. Oh, Too bad. There's the answer. 410,000. Okay, let's see what else. Blueberry biscuits. Okay, let's see what else. Wow, what is this? Okay, let's try this. Who wants a hobby farm? It's not really farming, it's just a hobby. It's a hobby farm. You do it in your spare time. You can do it in Georgia on your spare time. There's a hobby farm for you. All right, let me pull this over. Go have a hobby farm. It looks like they're doing some mid-century modern furnishings. Driftwood. These must make a mess all over the place. They do. Look at this. Rugs on rugs. It's a little strange. Fluffy thing. Looks like a cat on the chair, but it's not. Okay, how many different views of this room are we going to see? Oh, that's another room. They like those fluffy things. They like a lot of dried, that's like twigs here. What are they doing with these stuff? Come on. Dried hydrangeas. What the heck? This is just like sticks and stuff. What is that? Come on. There's the wine. The candelabra. This definitely is a hobby farm. These people don't look like they really farm. Wow, look at all this. They like drying hydrangea. Maybe they're hydrangea farmers. Look at their pantry with all the glass jars labeled. You know what gets me nervous about that? But you don't know how old anything is, right? That would never fly in my house. My kids, especially Luke, has to know the expiration on every single product. Look, eucalyptus in the shower. Those are dead roses up there, dried roses too. That looks scary. What is this? Looks like insulation or something falling down from there. That doesn't look inviting, does it? Oh my gosh, any more hydrangeas? And this is not even practical because I've dried hydrangeas, okay? She's going into this washer. Every time you go past them, there would be little things on the floor. That wood. Where's the hobby farm? Where's the farm? Where's the crops? Well, there's the crops. What kind of farm is it? Not much of a farm, is it? That's a hobby farm? Where's the hobby? That's your crops, guys. Okay, this says it's an exceptional historic restoration, and it's on just over 7 fenced acres, a few steps from downtown Rutledge, Georgia, in the bucolic Morgan County. Designer finishes and beautifully restored original details grace the home's interior and exterior living spaces, including a hard-to-find and generous primary suite on the main floor. 2 living keeping rooms, formal dining room, center hall stairs, butler's pantry, powder room, rear entry hall, and an incredible kitchen are featured on the main level. The light-filled upstairs includes 2 additional bedrooms, another full bath, a separate laundry room, and a large storage area. Exterior covered porches on the front side and rear side of the home are wide and offer more opportunities for friends and family gatherings, and provide great views to the property's iconic barns, pasture, and fire pit. Minutes from Madison, Georgia, and an easy hour commute to Atlanta. Okay. And you get a pumpkin patch. And the pumpkin patch is yours. And how much do you think that is? Your own hobby farm. You can farm as a hobby. Okay, carrot farm, no carrot, $350, little lady. Valerie Kurtos is $300. Irma Jean Bojangles, are you there? Are you back from your break, Irma? Kevin Leonard, Video Reel. Margot. Murder of Crows, $365. Guys, $340 for Kevin Leonard. Oh my goodness, you guys. Margot, $600K. Ain't grown a pumpkin there. Look, there's a pumpkin patch right here. Video Reel. There's a pumpkin patch. So many people around me grew pumpkins. I used to grow great. Once I grew pumpkins and I grew Jack B. Littles. I should do that again. This year, my tomatoes and stuff, I don't know. So hard. You guys are way, 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 way I'm sorry, Kevin. No. Come on, little lady. That had a lot of high-end stuff inside there. Come on, you guys. Stop. Little lady. Yes, way, little lady. Time for the daily double. Time for the daily double. Look, Rough and Ready's in here like crazy. Okay, let's see. Okay, got those. Duffel, I got it. Duffel, I got it. 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 Okay. All right, one more. One more. Pearls, okay, got it. Got it. Alrighty. You did it. So on Monday, I've got to take Jimmy for his colonoscopy to our favorite hospital, the one that we couldn't find. Won't everybody be so happy we can do it all over again? We can go to the infamous, hard to find hospital. And I can see the lady who is swinging her arms. Isn't that fun? Yeah, I don't think a lot is there. It's not a word. I can do all of that. Isn't that going to be a fun time? My cousin's got to go for a colonoscopy on the same day. Isn't that crazy? And Ruffles is going for a colonoscopy tomorrow. That's why I guess she wasn't at our auction. Lol, Lighty, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. So anyway, remember that there is a giveaway on the blog, mommyramblings.org. Go and enter for that Amazon gift card. The last one, Full Indigo, got it. I don't know. You know what, little lady? I didn't mind it. Now that I got used to going under with just the propofol and stuff at one time, I'm okay with it. And I don't know, the prep they give me is not so bad. You know, and then you're like, it's good to go. It's good to go. But yeah, go to mommyramblings.org. I have to go to the doctor tomorrow. I have to get my flu shot, and I have to go to the endocrinologist. So fun, fun, fun. But let me see. What do I have this? Okay. I think we're gonna end here. I'll see you there. You had to drink a gallon of soap water. Oh my gosh. All right, we'll see you later. Thank you guys for everything. Thank you for all the memberships. It was wonderful. Channel support. Love you guys. God bless. Prayers. And we'll see you later. Bye. Love you.